Why bother telling a story of somebody who's not, someone who's unremarkable, someone who didn't do anything inspiring, wasn't Michelangelo or Walt Whitman or Roosevelt on the one hand, Lincoln on the one hand, or on the other hand, a Rasputin or a Mao or Stalin. And on top of that, someone who led a life that wasn't exemplary, that was kind of pretty ignoble in a way. Not because they wanted to harm anybody per se, but because they had no real model for leading a decent life, because this is what they learned from the world around them. So that's something that I've always been attracted to and interesting to me. Someone like Jordan or Jake LaMotta or Tommy, Joe Pesci's character in Goodfellas. And people say, well, that type of person, that sort. But I guess what that means is that they try to distance themselves from them. It's someone else, it's not me. But in actuality, I feel it's not someone else, it's us, it's you and me. And maybe if we had been born under different circumstances, maybe we would have wound up making exactly the same mistakes and choices and doing exactly the same things. Because I really think it's, when they say it's people of that kind, it's really not a matter of equalizing everyone and saying we're all responsible. I think it's a matter of facing and recognizing, acknowledging that part of us, which is a part of our common humanity, and we have to deal with it. He thought that he could bypass morality or surpass morality with a combination of money and drugs. I don't know, maybe he still does, I really don't know. I mean, it's another way of answering the question. He was different from Madoff and Skilling in that they weren't crashing helicopters or throwing little people, or maybe they were, but maybe if they did, they kept it pretty quiet. But in that sense, Jordan's experiences are more entertaining, and that brings you closer to him, because you look at these guys and think, wow, maybe this seems to be a lot of fun. Well, it doesn't just look that way. They really did have a lot of fun. In fact, that's really all they could do, is have fun, and more on top of that, until it wasn't so much fun anymore. But what they couldn't do was just be. They just couldn't face that. So the challenge is to show that honestly, without tipping the scales into judgment and taking you outside of the world of these characters and the particular ways that they lived their lives, which was to obliterate all obstacles, all troubles, all difficulties by taking more drugs, more money. Sex was not even a factor. Sex was just part of that, in a sense. So it's really drugs and money and power.